My name is Johan Lenox. I was born in a small town in Massachusetts. I wasn't allowed to have video games, or toy guns, or cable TV, so I played piano. That was my entertainment. I used to play movie soundtracks over and over again until the piano strings would break. Then one day I went to the Boston Symphony and heard those scores played live, and it changed my life. That year I began studying to be an orchestral composer, so one day I could grow up and do the same thing. By the time I was in high school, I was traveling around the country getting to hear orchestras perform my own music. I retreated into this world. Friday nights were spent with my friends wandering around the suburbs. Everything was shut down by 9, but we could sneak up onto the rooftops or go smoke in the woods. You could walk across our entire town in an hour or two. The guys would blast music while we bull rolled along, but I didn't know the songs or the artists. I guess as a classical musician, I thought I didn't need to. But the vibes were good. I'd get home late and sleep well in the dead silence of suburban nights. Then I'd wake up on Saturday and go into Boston for my lesson. Back into the embrace of classical music. My other obsession was roller coasters. Since I was a child, I'd been fascinated by them, memorizing all the statistics, the parks and manufacturers, traveling around the country when I could to ride the biggest and best thrill rides over and over. I loved the majesty of them, the gigantic spectacle of the whole thing, just the way I enjoyed a symphony. That was me. Roller coasters and classical music. Until one Thanksgiving, I was at my friend's house 3 doors down from mine. He played me an album called My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I'd never heard anything like it. Maybe it was the acid I was on that night, but to hear one of the biggest artists in the world channeling the abstract structures of my favorite classical compositions, singing through auto-tune over cellos like a madman, opened my mind. I bought myself a microphone and started learning how to write songs. I moved to Los Angeles to follow my dream. And for a year or two, all I did was write. I thought maybe I'd left Boston and the whole classical music thing behind. But then one day a friend from Massachusetts reached back out. Now he was an orchestra conductor, and he wanted my help to make a classical concert about Kanye West. So we sat and debated, and over a few pours of Amaro, we hatched the idea for a show called Beethoven. A few months later, thousands of people lined up for this orchestra concert, and I knew that one day I'll be able to bring that type of music to the entire world. But for now, I write, and I sing. After the Beethoven concert, I started hearing from my idols. First Mr. Hudson and Vic Mensa, then No ID and Mike Dean, eventually Kanye West and Travis Scott. I wrote string parts for violins and cellos, just how I learned as a kid. I sang vocal harmonies, just how I had done in school choir, and I got to give back to some of the artists who had changed my life. But mainly I kept writing my own songs, in between Amaros and trips back to Massachusetts. When I went home, I'd be reminded of how I felt as a kid growing up there. I would see the houses with the picket fences, the American flags, and I would wonder, is it still possible to have the upbringing that I had? To look forward into the future and dream and think those dreams really might come true. Does it take away from the magic to know things may never be like that again? Or does it make it more beautiful to know how ephemeral this all was? So I write, and I sing, and I ask myself, will there be an American dream again by the time you finally grow up? We thought we'd be there by now. Instead, we're just kids staring off a cliff. Our planet is on the brink of collapse. Is there time to change the world before it's gone forever? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up?